Good, we're at 1,000 feet, we're straight and level. Let's lower our power settings a little bit. We don't need to climb anymore, hold our altitude here. And let's look at some of these lights that we have here, some of these illuminating lights. I mean, they're not lit right now, but we had an alternator light last time, which basically means the alternator is no longer working, or it's not supplying power to the battery, which supplies power to all the electrical circuits in here. Out of all the electrical components in this helicopter, which one do you think is the most important?
The alternator keeps things running, but if that fails, I guess the battery will maintain it for a little while. So I want to say the alternator, because without that you can't charge it, but without the battery, if the alternator fails, you can't safely land.
Right, but let's see, I mean, we have a radio, we have a transponder, we have some gauges here, and we have our engine tachometer and our rotor tachometer. Which of these electrical components do you think is the most important?
I wouldn't even know.
This one is by far the most important. We can fly without a
But then I guess, yeah, you're right, because if all else fails and you have to go into an auto rotation, you still need to know that information.
Exactly. Like, we might lose it. I can show you here. That's what it'll look like. Now, we might still fly like this, but in an auto rotation, this is terrible because we don't know where the RPMs are.
Cherokee 9 Victor Tango, runway 24, number 2.
Robinson was smart by setting it up this way. They put the rotor and engine tachometers on separate circuits, so that if you lose the whole system, you might not lose one of them. You might still maintain one, and that's, you know, it's good for whatever you got. It all depends. Good. Let's descend down to 1,000. Keep it at 65. Carb heat's looking good. Remember, right pedal as we lower collective.
8536 Yankee radio service terminated. Squawk VF offering change approved.
36 Yankee, roger.
Line tower 63496 ready to go at Echo and 24.
63496 Long Island Tower, hold short. Runway 24.
Hold short 496.
That one neighborhood looks pretty new. It's got no trees. This one just all white.
Yeah.
The one with their own little lake.
That's 38 Sierra.
Surrounded by a lake.
Yeah, it's definitely man-made.
Alright, what altitude did you want?
1,000 feet.
Turn left, Bravo, contact ground.
We'll turn left on Bravo, contact ground. Thank you very much. 243 Sierra.
So what happens is the battery gives power to everything, and the alternator continuously charges the battery. If the battery is full and all the components are using it and the alternator is running, then we have a 0 set on the amps. If we turn the alternator off and we start to put load on the battery, then it'll start to discharge. All right. Now we got some other ones here. By any chance, did you look at the book, the POH for main rotor temperature, tail rotor chip, main rotor chip?
No, I didn't have room to pack that book. I just mainly read the helicopter handbook and the videos you gave me.
Down one about a mile, and then
all right, no problem. We'll go over them. Some of them are more important than others. Let's talk about the clutch. The clutch light, if that comes on in flight, it's not a big deal. It's normal for the clutch light to come on when you're adjusting the collective. The belts will adjust their tension. Now, whenever it comes on, I count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, all the way up to 10 Mississippi. If it's still on after 10 seconds, I pull this red clutch circuit breaker right here, and it's strategically put right in the center with this extra red ring around it to make it really easily identifiable with my fingertips, and I pull it. What that means, if that clutch light is on, it means that the actuator on the clutch is either expanding or contracting. And either way, it's going to mess me up. If it's expanding, it's going to tear the belts. If it's contracting, it's going to loosen them up. They'll fly off anyways. So I want to stop that, and I want to turn around and land as soon as practical, which is back at the airport.
So you just pull it, you don't try resetting it?
No, by pulling the circuit breaker, the clutch will stop moving. I don't know if it's expanding or contracting, but Robinson said 10 seconds, and you'll be good to go. You should still be okay. All right, so that's the clutch. We wait 10 seconds, and then we pull the clutch circuit breaker and turn around and go. Or land as soon as practical, which means Robinson says you're good to go back to the airport. If something happens in between here and then we gotta land sooner. Will it be an auto rotation? Maybe. It doesn't matter. Low fuel light indicates 1 gallon left in the tank. It's not like a car where you say, oh, I'll just wait till the low fuel light comes on and then I'll go back. 1 gallon is about, Robinson says, 10 minutes of fuel. Now, that's could be right. We don't know. I've never seen that light come on, and I really don't ever want to see it come on. And maybe some kid with a BB gun is shooting up in the air and it hit our tank and it's bleeding fuel. And you're looking out to your left over here, and then you come back and that low fuel light's been on. You don't know how long it's been on. It might have been on the whole time you were looking to the left. So you don't necessarily have 10 minutes. So what do you think you're going to do if that low fuel light comes on?
Again, find a safe place to land.
Number 3.
Land immediately is the only answer. The only thing you're going to do is land. It doesn't matter where. The beach, someone's backyard, on the road, you got to land. And you'll never get in trouble for it because the book says when that light comes on, land immediately. All right? And the low road RPM, this will be the last one we'll talk about today. That one comes on when the RPMs go below the green. And I'll demonstrate. I'm just going to manually roll off a little bit of throttle here. With the collective pull, that horn comes on. Okay, when we let go of the throttle, it'll come back up to green if the governor's working, which it is. Now, if it wasn't working, when that horn comes on, what you want to do is collective down, roll throttle on. Okay, roll throttle on, and raise collective back up. That's the proper thing. So low road RPM, collective down, roll throttle on, raise collective.
Not fully down, just enough to get it back in the green.
Just clear the land.
Exactly, just a little bit. By lowering the collective, you are reducing the drag on the blades, and you can what's it called? Jesus, this microphone is really sensitive today. You can hopefully increase RPMs just by lowering the collective. All right, let's do this. Let's do a wide left turn over this stretch of shore. We'll turn into the wind, keep it at 1,000 feet, and slow us down to 0 knots and hold it in an out-of-ground effect hover. Lights are out, gauges are green, fuel's good, carb heat's looking good, radio transponder looking good. Wind's coming out at 240, so right about here, a little bit more. And what you want to do, start to slow it down, lead with the collective and right pedal so we don't gain too much altitude, and bring it down to 0 speed.
Lead with the collective, so...
Alright, lower collective, aft cycle, keep the helicopter nice and level, very nice. And we're climbing a little bit, but that's fine, because as the speed comes down, we're going to start to sink, so you're going to have to start pulling power in. And keep slowing us down. Eyes outside, pick a reference and keep the nose on it. I'm looking at that steam right there. Good, we're starting to descend, so let's start pulling some of that power in. It's going to be like a hover, so we're going to have to start putting in left pedal. Good, slow it down a little bit more nose up. Looks like we've got about maybe 25, 30 knots of speed here. Good, and we can hold it here, right? Eventually we might start to settle. Let's hold it here for a few seconds. let's lower the collective a little bit. We'll start to settle into our own downwash. There's that vibration. What is this situation called?
Out of ground effect. Settling with power.
Right, settling with power. We're settling into our own turbulence, and we got enough power. To keep it in a hover, but assuming we start to descend and there's a vibration, there's a little bit of loss of tail rotor effectiveness. How do we get out of it?
Collective down, forward.
Good, nice and smooth. Collective back up. Bring your power back in, left pedal, and go resume flying. Good job.
9 Alpha Tango, turn left Bravo if able, if not all the way down to Sierra and turn left.
Okay, Bravo.
All right. You see where the beach kind of just curves out just like that? All right, what I want you to do, we're going to shoot a normal approach to it. So let's start our descent here. You see how that spot is right up in between the trim strings and the compass? Let's talk about the approach. I'm going to apply full carb heat.
9 Alpha Tango.
This is 9 or 2 Hotel Fox.
I'm going to put trim down. Good. Now, let's talk about this part of the approach. We're very high, we're very far. So what we can do, we can keep flying 60 knots until we get closer, so long as that spot stays between here. Now it's getting below us. So what we should do, let's slow it down and lower our power settings here. So that spot will come a little bit back up on our sight picture. This is how we correct approaches as we do them. Now this is a very large, high, and wide one. Most of them are going to be a lot smaller, narrower, and shorter. Good, looks like it's a little bit back there, or a little bit back towards our thing. Remember to keep it in trim, so maybe a little bit of left pedal. There you go. Good. That looks a little bit better. We got some people walking down the beach here. Shouldn't be a problem. We're not going to go all the way down to the beach.
118.0.
Good, now we're getting even closer. Let's slow it down another couple of knots. And let's bring it up to about maybe 500 foot descent rate. So raise just a little bit of collective as you slow it down. Good. And the rest of the approach could probably be shot at this speed. And the main idea is to control your closure rate, and you can do that with the cyclic and the collective. All right, let's put the nose forward, a little bit of left pedal as we raise collective. We'll do a nice normal takeoff here.
Alpha Tango, you ready to go? 709 Alpha Tango, Cessna in the upwind. You're going to make left traffic, runway 24 and 6, departure clear for take.
Let's turn towards Stony Brook, over there on the left.
Can I get up to 1,000?
Yeah, bring it up to 1,000.
Elite Jet 901, ready to go, 24 holding short.
This is just for the camera. Remember, our max power was 23, so if we put it right on 23 and kind of lock it in at like 50, 60 knots, we should get a good climb rate, winds coming out of this direction. Sorry about that.
All right.
Ground Tower, 92 Hotel Fox, on downwind runway 24.
Cessna 92 Hotel Foxtrot, to be one citation jet. Departure prior to you, runway 24, clear touch and go.
Right.
Roger, back clear, touch and go, 1 Mark 4, right, go down.